Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup on Free FM 89.0. This is Grady Hooker, and live, as always, on Skype, we got Josh.
Hey!
So, Raw and SmackDown were both building towards Survivor Series. So pretty much anything that we could talk about that happened on those shows, we can talk about during our Survivor Series preview, which we'll do in the second half after the song. So, something we don't usually get time to do, we're actually going to get to preview the NXT TakeOver, and look ahead at Toronto. Only 5 matches that I can see officially announced on the card at the moment. We'll start at the bottom. The Revival defending their NXT Tag Team Championships in a 2 out of 3 falls against DIY.
That should be a really, really, really good match.
Yeah, I've definitely liked the past encounters between these two teams. They've shown before that they can put on a damn good match. Adding 2 out of 3 falls, I'm going to imagine it goes the normal way, and we're going to use all 3 falls here. I imagine Revival might get the first one, Dodgy Means, DIY fight back for the second. The finish to the match, I can't really predict. I guess it depends whether you want to put DIY up into the Cruiserweight division or keep them down here for now. Want them to do both. Whether you want the Revival to be heading up to the main roster soon. There's a lot of outside factors here in determining who's going to win the match.
And there's also, I think it also depends on who wins the Tag Team Classic as well. Because
Okay.
I really believe that the winner of the Tag Team Classic will be the next person next team in line for a shot at the Tag Team titles.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense, both of these teams were in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and they did not make it this far through differing reasons. But I guess we can look at it. The Authors of Pain and TM61 were actually the 2 teams to make it through this far to the end. Paul Ellering suspended above the ring inside a cage. I don't know if this is someone being funny on Wikipedia or if this is actually a stipulation.
Nope, that's actually a thing. He's being put in a shark cage and will be suspended above the ring.
Now,
Much in the same way China was back in the day.
there was this thing that came out. It was a WWE playset. There was a ring, and there was a cage hanging above the ring. And on it, it said, "See this in action at NXT TakeOver." Everybody assumed it was a joke. It's happening.
Yep.
Okay. That's going to take me a while to get my head around, so who do you think is going to come out the winner of this classic? Obviously, I heavily favor TM61 here as the winners.
Yeah, this would be if you're going to give the Rocket Pack to TM61, this would be the perfect way to do so.
And I'm assuming if TM61...
But as I said, it's completely dependent on the Tag Team Championship match as well.
Yeah.
Although I could probably see Gargano and Ciampa versus TM61 just as easily as I could Authors of Pain versus DUI or Revival versus TM61. So I like how they built this year's Tag Team Classic that you don't really know who's going to win.
Yeah.
Last year, everybody and their mother knew who was going to win that thing.
Is it really going to be the 2 top singles talents that are teaming together?
That will have a perfect reason to feud after the words?
Who'd have thunk it? Yeah, I'll go TM61 and DIY both picking up wins, leading into a nice friendly feud between the two, with TM61 picking up the titles when they tape content over here in Melbourne. Just making broad predictions that are never going to happen.
You know what? I think I will agree, which probably means neither will win.
Yep, that's the way it works here. Bobby Roode, Ty Dillinger.
Oh, this should be a really, really good match. I didn't know about this one.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the theme of this whole NXT. That's going to be a really good match.
Yeah. As much as I like the Perfect 10, I think Bobby Roode needs to keep his momentum going.
Yeah.
So I'll go with Bobby Roode winning that match. But I think Ty Dillinger will have a great showing in it as well.
Ty had a rocky start when it comes to picking up wins. But he's got the momentum there, and like the crowd are behind him and everything. But Bobby Roode seems like a very top prospect right now. On all the posters being booked pretty highly. So I'm going to imagine that Bobby Roode will pick up the win here. Whether we see a show of respect afterwards to get...
No.
I'd like to think some
Rude
things.
Rude is the consummate heel. And he will be Shinsuke Nakamura's next opponent.
What about a show of respect with everybody cheering as he does it, and then he kicks him, and then beats him down some extra? Then I get my...
That's been done to death.
Yeah, everything's been done to death. This is wrestling.
Yeah.
We're sticking a man in a cage above the ring, for God's sakes. Everything's been done. Talking about things that have been done, bringing back the veteran to face the new rookie challenger, Mickie James taking on Asuka. Not really a rookie, but hey, in the WWE world.
This is interesting only because I'm interested in seeing what kind of shape Mickie is in.
There's no way she's winning, though.
No, there's no way somebody not from NXT is winning the title off of Asuka.
Yeah.
Because it would not make any sense for somebody who have, in the past has been a women's champion on the main roster to win this title. Unless they got promoted for some odd reason.
Yeah, I think this is really just to tide her over, so we can build up the rest of that other division. From what I've seen on NXT's through the weeks, I think there'll be an unannounced match with the rest of the women. It looked as though there was a nice separation going with the two Australian heels on one side, and pretty much the entire roster, Liv Morgan, Ember Moon, and Alea on the other side. So whether we see some form of match there, just to keep that rest of that division going and try and build, presumably, Ember Moon as her next competitor. I don't know, but we've only got 5 matches, so there is wiggle room there to shove something else in.
Yeah, there's definitely a possibility that when NXT airs tonight, they may announce another match, for all we know.
Or they could just do what they normally do and film, I think, the next week of NXT beforehand, and just put that on it. Yeah, either way. Main event, Nakamura Joe. Time to say goodbye to Joe.
Yeah, this should be, quotation marks, Joe's last match in NXT.
But will it be?
That's up for debate. When he loses here, what really will he have left to do in NXT?
Nothing. I'm gonna go with an if. If he loses here, there's pretty much nothing left in NXT for him. He's held the title before, he's had his one last huge run to try and get it back, and he would have failed at that. There's no particular challenger or single person that I see in the roster that I want him to go face. So yeah, he's pretty much on his way.
So, and it's too early, really, in Nakamura's title reign to take the title off him.
Yeah, as much as I like to say if, I'm pretty sure here that Nakamura is going to keep on to that title. He's done great with it, and is a fairly new champion. We don't have a big history of, just throwing the belt around at this point, so yeah, I'm going to say Shinsuke's going to retain quite easily. So, that's TakeOver Toronto. You might have already heard the gongs going off. That's because the theme this week is The Undertaker's Rest in Peace theme. Of course, he returned on SmackDown 900 with a big announcement. And after his theme, we'll talk a little about that and Survivor Series. And you're back with the Wrestling Roundup on Free FM 89.0, Grady and Josh. So before we get into Survivor Series, it ties in loosely. The last segment on SmackDown, cutting edge with the SmackDown team. Undertaker comes back. He's no longer defined by WrestleMania, and he's going to give it one last crack.
And heaven help the SmackDown team if they lose.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's like, if the Raw team lose, they have to go face Stephanie. But if the SmackDown team lose, their souls are going to be reaped by The Undertaker. I know which one is scarier to me.
Yeah, there's a man that threw a guy off of a cage twice. I'm talking about 2 different people.
Yeah, and buried his. What is Paul's relationship here? Mentor? What are we going with?
Paul Bear was just his manager.
Buried his manager in cement.
Yeah. Yep.
There's been a lot of terrible things The Undertaker has done, and it's honestly quite awesome to see him back.
And so Stephanie.
Yeah. I'm hoping this last run, I don't know how long it'll go for, but if it's a run, it's a run. So, again, Survivor Series pretty low on matches at the moment, even though we're hitting up there, but a lot of them are big matches that will take up a lot of time with a lot of consequences on them. Pretty much every single match here has a consequence behind it. So we'll start off with the Intercontinental Championship match, Sami Zayn versus The Miz, and if Zayn wins, the title will be transferred to Raw.
Alright. Zayn versus Miz makes more sense than Zayn versus Ziggler ever did.
Yep.
But, and it's time to rant, if you were going to do this in the first place, why the heck did you take the title off The Miz in the first place?
Yep. I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you wholeheartedly.
Right. The Miz was doing great with his 5th Intercontinental Championship. Now he's in his 6th because of this. I like Sammy to win the match. But I do not like the hot potato with the title.
Mm.
But I think the Intercontinental Championship needs to swap brands.
No. What will all of the non-main eventers fight for on SmackDown?
I have a prediction that we'll get into later.
Oh god, okay.
It'll be very interesting.
So we're going to move on to the next match, the Cruiserweights?
Well, you know what? I think we all thought what it was going to be so strange about the 205 Live show being after SmackDown until they announced this match.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you know what? Kalisto should have been in the Cruiserweight division to begin with.
Yep. I see this as
So we're going to tie up some loose ends that... And you know what? The Cruiserweight division should have been on SmackDown in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to tie up all those loose ends, and Kalisto is going to win the championship.
Yeah, I see this as a foregone conclusion, I think, with Kalisto bringing the division over to SmackDown, essentially making 205 Live the last hour of SmackDown. I have heard theories that the wording, it's nitpicking here, that it was if Kalisto wins, then the division comes over. So people have said that if Brian Kendrick gets disqualified, he gets to keep his title, but the division moves. Slight nitpicking and, fantasy stuff that probably won't happen. But yeah.
Yeah, but I think on Raw and SmackDown, they specifically said he had to win the title.
Damn it. What happens?
I think they specifically said if Kalisto wins the title,
the
division goes over.
Okay.
Not only wins the title, but the division shows.
Yeah, I think that's a foregone conclusion. I see Kalisto winning that and no other way around it. That's just how I see it. The Cruiserweights are going to go do 205 Live. If they hadn't announced 205 Live, I'd be a little more surprised by the outcome. I think if they hadn't announced that show at all, and then Kalisto wins this and the whole division moves to SmackDown, I think that would have been a better moment. I think it would be like oh my god, they've got so much talent now on this 2-hour show, where are they going to, okay, there's a new hour. We'll move up to the tag team elimination match. Team Raw, Team SmackDown. Haven't changed since last time we talked about them.
No. I'm on Team SmackDown. I think they've got the better tag teams. I think the SmackDown tag team division is better.
They still have 4 extra teams they didn't use in their team.
And I just don't trust the club.
Yeah.
I think they will screw over Team Raw in this match.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way it seemed to be leaning. I was skipping through the Team SmackDown match from SmackDown, where the 4 non-champion teams took on the 4 teams who didn't qualify. And I was just skipping through like every 20 seconds or so, and the commentators would not shut up about Gallows and Anderson. It was like, Gallows and Anderson are the big threat on the other team. They're the big thing that's going to change who's going to win this. So it makes sense, I guess, to have them screw over, walk out, flip on. There's many different verbs here that you can use.
I think American Alpha will be the sole survivors of this match.
Not Breezango.
And I'm going to guess that they're going to institute, if one member loses, the entire team's eliminated.
Yep. I think they have to. Otherwise this match is going to go on for days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd add Breezango in those survivors. No. Okay.
No. The Fashion Police will not be the sole survivors. In fact, they'll be the first eliminated.
Nope. That'll be the Hype Bros.
No, if it's not Breezango, it'll be the Shining Stars.
Okay, I'll give you that. Shining Stars. Yeah, I'm also on the Team SmackDown here. Moving to the woman, though. Team Raw, Team SmackDown, again, has not changed.
Team Raw will win. Bayley will be the last survivor.
But she's the weak link.
I think Bayley will overcome 2 or 3-on-1 odds to win this match.
Okay. Yeah. It was weird on the segment on SmackDown where Team Raw's women's team came in and started to attack Team SmackDown just to see Bayley attacking people. Just seemed so weird.
Everybody I saw was like, it's just weird for Bayley to act heelish in any way.
Yeah, I didn't get it. It was just...
But they were invaders on another show, so it made sense.
It did, but it was still weird.
Yeah.
So we're having in your prediction land, we're having so many different Soul Survivors. I'm scared to ask. The men's match. What are we doing here? Team SmackDown with the Soul Survivor?
Randy Orton will be the Soul Survivor.
So we're having 3 Soul Survivors in 3 matches.
Yes.
This is bananas.
This isn't that far-fetched.
This is bananas.
And you remember I said I was going to make a prediction later on.
Oh, God.
Sure. I predict the United States Championship will change show.
Huh?
That Roman Reigns will be fired by Stephanie, but will somehow retain the title before leaving and be signed by SmackDown.
What? I don't know what you've been drinking before you came on the air today, but I think I want some. That's weirder than your prediction of 3 Soul Survivors now. Now we're having Roman Reigns transferring brands. I'm done. Brock Lesnar, Goldberg. Let's just move on. God.
This one's hard to predict.
Goldberg.
I'm going with Lesnar.
I don't like my head predicting anymore, so I'm going to go with my heart and say Goldberg.
I've enjoyed the fact that Goldberg has made this a feud you want to see, even though you know the match is going to be terrible.
Yep.
They've done their job. You want to see this. It doesn't matter what's going to be. You want to see it.
My mom wants to see it.
Yeah. And I've called Goldberg the personification of charisma.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he was in the 97, 98 when he was building towards his massive streak. He didn't say anything because he didn't have to.
Yeah.
It was that he had that innate charisma that draws people in. And the promo work he's been working with has been amazing since he's come back.
Yeah.
And honestly, he outshined Heyman. And that's hard to do.
Boom! Yeah, I really like the character as well.
It's so repetitive nowadays. It's getting easier and easier to outshine him. Because he just he says the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But I think they brought Goldberg back with a fat paycheck so that he would give Lesnar back his win.
Yep. But my heart still says Goldberg, so I pick Goldberg. Big Goldberg fan.
I wouldn't mind it, but that wastes all that build on Lesnar.
Nah, I don't mind.
On a part-time.
I'm bored of the build on Lesnar now. Like, get rid of it. I don't really care. I'm over it. It's as simple as that at this point.
I would rather have him win here and then lose at WrestleMania to Braun Strowman.
I'd have rather him lose, like, one of the 60-odd... No, he didn't even have that many. One of the 6-odd matches he's previously had against many a people who could have taken that rub. That didn't happen, so I don't really care now. I am really getting to the point where I'm bored poopless with Brock Lesnar. The mystique's not there. I don't care if he's going to pick someone up and throw him around for 6 minutes and call it a match. I'm over it. The only reason I even give a little bit of poop about this match is the Goldberg element. If this was Brock Lesnar versus literally anybody else on that roster, I don't think I'd care. I'm just over it. And I guess that's what happens when you have like 2 years of this, of just nothing but Brock Lesnar just throwing people around, winning matches. They're not spectacular matches either. They're not matches I want to go back and watch 6 times over on the WWE Network for $9.99.
About the only one that he's had, well, I would say 2 that he's had that you'd want to go back and see, would be the triple threat match at the Royal Rumble last year, and then the title match he had with Reigns at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'll give you those.
And that's
2.
about it.
But that's 2 of what? Like, I don't even know how many he's had at this point. 20, maybe. I'm just over it. I've had it. I'm done. I don't really care who gets the rub at this point. I don't care at all. Just end it and take Lesnar away. I'm over it. I can't say much more about it.
Well, I think the good news is that his contract is up after WrestleMania.
Yay.
So maybe they won't re-sign him.
And we've got about 30 seconds here, so if you got a 0 to 100 scale, the odds of Conor McGregor showing up in the WWE?
100%.
100%? And how long? How long till we see him?
WrestleMania.
Okay. Competing or just an appearance like Rousey?
I don't know. I want to sit on the fence on that one.
Okay. So it's been great talking to you.
Bye-bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling Radio, and we'll see you next week.